Right, so what we've got here, Star Wars fans, is one of the books that I have. Now, I had this book many, many years ago. This isn't the actual edition I had many, many years ago. I don't know what happened to that one. I got lost in a house move or something. But this is a new edition of an old book that I had. This is first published in 1999 to coincide with the huge release of Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And it is quite a skinny looking book. I am going to see the page count. Let's have a look at the page count of this thing. So it's only like 64, 65 pages. So it's not huge. But check out the price tag for a 65 page book. £12.99. The £12.99 for a hardback isn't too bad. But go back 25 years, it's what was £12.99, quite a hefty price for this. Obviously not, because I bought it back in the day because I was very excited about the up and coming Star Wars prequels. I still quite like the prequels. I have issues with Attack of the Clones, but not enough to go on some crazy keyboardy rampage about it. I do have a fondness for Episode 1, and it was an exciting time for Star Wars fans like me because we hadn't had Star Wars for a whole bunch of years. So we were very excited to return to the world that George Lucas created and helped create, with obviously all of the actors and special effects people that he'd assembled. So what we have here is the visual dictionary, 65 pages of the visual dictionary, which is quite obviously it's going to be a very visual book, isn't it? Because that's the whole flipping nature of the name. So it's written by David West Reynolds. He's got a PhD in something. It tells you at the back actually what he's got a PhD on. He has a PhD in archaeology from Michigan University. So it's quite a weird shift, isn't it, to go from having a PhD in archaeology to writing a book about Episode 1. So I'm just going to give you a quick guide through this. A lot of the Star Wars fans around my age and a little bit younger probably are familiar with this book anyway. So we've got a whole bunch of contents. Goes into a lot of the characters, the battle droids. I do have the Hasbro battle droid there, so I'm familiar a little bit with battle droids. Goes into the Skywalker, Skywalker's mum, Shmi, and a whole lot of things. The thing is with the Phantom Menace, it brought a whole bunch of things that we weren't familiar with. It brought in Gungans, it brought in the Droidekas, Queen Amidala, Naboo. So it brought in all this stuff that we weren't familiar with that I think pretty much fitted in with the world. So what we're treated to here, there is a fair bit of text in it, even though it is a visual dictionary. As you can see, there is quite a lot of writing here. We have Yoda. I'm guessing this is the Yoda puppet before they changed it over to CGI for the DVD release, which kind of still horrifies me a little bit that they did that. We get the Jedi High Council. Let's not talk about this gentleman here. I've got a lot of Acolyte fans. Were there Acolyte fans? I quite like the Acolyte. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't the best Star Wars had ever been. Coyote Monday, and this chap did create a bit of a crazy internet whirlwind by their appearance in the Acolyte. Fun times. Qui-Gon, definitely one of the better characters, I think, in the prequels. Obviously, along with Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. I nearly said Talk of the Devil then, but he's a Jedi. He's not a devil. Nice guy. I like Ewan. So we're treated to just a whole big backstory, and it's a bit, as you can hear when I'm turning the pages, it's a bit, I think it's not been read in many, many years. Queen Amidala and her many, many outfits that she's had over the years. The Queen's Handmaidens, one of them being Keira Knightley, which I'm sure all the Star Wars fans know. And then Padme, obviously Queen Amidala, but just in disguise. We have the Naboo, Captain Panaka, and everybody's favourite. Of course, everybody loves Jar Jar Binks, don't they? Do they still hate Jar Jar Binks, or have people come around to sort of warming to Jar Jar a little bit? I was never anti-Jar Jar. He wasn't my most favorite character, but I didn't despise the character. No worse than some of the ones from the original trilogy. I always find 3PO a little bit annoying as a kid. I like 3PO, but it's sometimes you just like, shut up. You're going to get everybody into trouble. Darth Maul. Annie Skywalker. So as you can see, it's like, yes, it is a visual dictionary. But there is a whole ton of information in this book. Which if you are a big fan of The Phantom Menace, and hopefully you are, hopefully you're still a Star Wars fan nowadays, otherwise what are you watching all these videos for? Pod race, every time, I mean, it's no secret that, and I'm probably going to paraphrase, so maybe it is a secret, but the whole thing of the pod races was so, like, for the merchandise and the video gaming and stuff, and I get that, because I have Episode 1 Pod Racer on the PlayStation 5. It's like it's a port from the previous version. It's great. I mean, it's a 25-year-old game, but it's still so much fun. And I'm still not too bad at that game. Tatooine. We don't go to Tatooine very often in Star Wars, do we? You know, maybe I am being sarcastic, of course. Chancellor Valorum. Anything that Terrence stamps in is amazing. So are you going to probably learn quite a bit in this book that you may not be familiar with? Well, diehard Star Wars fans, you probably know all already. But if you can pick this book up, and you can pick it up pretty cheap. I did. I bought it as a part of a job lot on an eBay thing. Then pick it up. It's a solid hardcover. It's 65 pages, but it's quite a pretty book. And I'm going to do that cardinal sin now. Put the book that way, just so hopefully I can end up with this being the thumbnail for the video. It'll save me a little bit of editing on it. So are you familiar with this book? Is it one you've read before? And did you read it cover to cover, or did you just sort of have it on a coffee table and just flick through it now and again? To be fair, that's pretty much what I did. May the Force be with you, always.